Ice, ice, baby. This is something that bugs me about our world sometimes is...
What's that? What's our world?
Well, so like the prepper homesteader space is turning away from creativity and art, because prepping is a very serious activity, but it's not.
Well, it is in the moment for some people.
It is in the moment for some people, but if you deny yourself a creative outlet, you are not a whole, healthy person, whatever your creative outlet is. And if it's music, it's music. If it's sewing, it's sewing. If it's quilting, it's quilting. I don't care what it is. If it's painting, if it's making video. If the act of raising your plants in your garden is your creative outlet, when you cut that out, you become unbalanced. And when you're unbalanced and a crisis happens, you're in trouble.
Sure.
And we'd never talk about that.
And I think the biggest thing that's missing along what you said, not missing from what you said, but for our community, is we are so busy living in fear that we don't go do anything great. There's nothing of greatness. You are waiting and hiding, and to most people doing nothing, and your greatness is going to be that you have some shit put away to save a couple people, and you're going to be the hero when society collapses, and society hasn't collapsed yet. So if you took and made something that you love and that people love and give you a lot of money for it, you're going to live a lot better if society ever collapses.
Well, and you will have the kind of resilience in your mind to deal with unpredictable situations. Because if something goes wrong, what do you need? Sure, it helps to have the shit to deal with it. But if you don't have the brain to make that happen, it doesn't matter that you have the hammer to drive the nail.
Sure, it's pressure tested.
And I think we just don't do that. That's why I want to see more of us showing our art or showing our creative things when we do these gatherings or these festivals. I want to see the music. I want to see the paintings. I want to see whatever.
Why do you think that is?
Why do I think what is?
That we don't.
I think because people are hyper-focused on the self-defense and the food storage. I think it's like you get into prepping. I think you're right. It's because they're fear-driven. And with the economy in the state that it's at, with the leadership of this country doing what they're doing, with all of that, people just fear. They saw the COVID reaction and they're like, the world is terrible. Well, the world's been terrible, but it's also awesome. And there's also a whole lot of positive out there that if you focus there, then you can deal with the terrible.
I think a lot of people find prepping and can latch onto it because it's something you can do at any income level. So you have people that have an extra $10 every week from their paycheck, and they can go buy a $10 thing and feel accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, you've conditioned yourself to spend and get rid of that $10 for that instant dopamine hit, right? Whether it's, Facebook scrolling or YouTube, whatever it is. But when you do that, you never accumulate that to be $100, and the 100 never becomes 1,000. And that's what I want. Like, people every night on the live feed are like, hey, what should I do? Or guys come in and they're like, what should I get? I'm like, the real answer, you shouldn't get anything. Like, I'd rather see you take that money and put it into yourself, learn something, become, create something, and then come back in a couple of years. Just been locked down for a few years, and they don't want to hear that at all.
It's work.
Lockdown, all of your money goes into you and your business for 3 years. And you don't have any life. If you don't have a girlfriend, you don't go find a girlfriend. If you have a girlfriend, then she does this with you, and you're going to find out whether she's the right one pretty damn quick or not. Like, if you can both do it together and create something and build that, and everything goes into that for 3 years. And then you come in and go, hey, what should I buy? And I'm going to be like, what do you build? And we're going to co-brand, and we're going to put your product into one of my pouches, or we're going to do something like that. And then when we do business, it's going to be on the threshold of tens of thousands of dollars instead of you giving me $25 for a trinket that 6 weeks from buying it isn't going to be of any importance to you.
That is an issue. And that's the poverty mindset, is it's easier to justify spending $5 or $10 on something than saving that to spend $100 on the thing that will, or the skill or whatever that will endure for 5 or 10 years into the future. It's kind of like buying shitty hoses and
That's
replacing them every year.
absolutely
It's
like
the
that.
shitty
Yeah.
hose thing, right? And that's where, like, as I get further and further from the poverty mindset, I notice myself, the decisions I make to get the right thing, usually that means I'm not getting anything right now. It's like, well, I'll just do without that thing until I can get the thing that's going to fix it forever. It's why my kitchen does not have cabinetry right now, because I had to fix underlying issues, and I don't want to incur an interest-based payment to make it all pretty, and it doesn't really matter to me if it's functional. So
You've seen where I live. I have plywood on my floors.
I mean, the same. That's what my kitchen floor is right now. I have paint on it though.
Yeah, somebody's gonna be like, "You don't really have plywood. It's some kind of plywood. I don't know. It's like fucking. It's really the most
Subfloor.
expensive plywood you can buy."
But when you start thinking that way, you actually start accumulating and keeping wealth, and it brings more. You see more of the wealth opportunities that were always there. Because that's the other thing is, we say that you attract more of that to you, and to some extent that's true. But I think it's more that we see the opportunity or the way to get over the boundary.
Or even just you choose to take the opportunity.
Right.
How many times have we been invited places and we just didn't go? And you're like, "Holy shit, that looked fucking so awesome."
Yeah. Yeah, like Self-Reliance Festival.
So, or I was thinking, yeah, it's definitely Self-Reliance Festival, but I was thinking like John's thing in Texas, like what's that called? Freedom.
Oh, Exit and Build.
Exit and Build.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become a full
super
blown.
fun.
Yeah, it's become a full blown like music festival. Has it not?
No, but he does music in the evenings. So he has sessions during the day, and you meet a lot of really cool people there, and then he had music at night, and that was fun. I think a lot of us are trying to bring that creative piece in where there is music, and we have somebody launching an album at Self-Reliance Festival, Slave to Servant, and he's been sitting on this album for 2 years.
That's In God We Bus on Instagram, if you're curious who that is.
And we met him at the last Self-Reliance Festival, and I played music with him, and like every time I meet somebody who's good at music and I can play music with them just like that, I'm like, this is awesome. It's so, from a musician standpoint, like that ability to be on the same wavelength and jam that's part of my dopamine hit when I'm doing it. And I was like, well, he's good. He's really good. And I said, well, do you want to play? And he said, well, I've got an album to release, so why don't we do this whole launch thing? And I said, okay, let's do it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many people is he bringing with him?
For the band? I think 4 or 5. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be on stage with like a harmonica and
a
a ukulele and a kick drum where he plays them all himself. That's cool.
It's not going to be a Dylan moment. But and it'll be a real thing. And Tess is coming back this time too. So
Good.
I don't know what she's gonna cook up for us, but it should be fun. And but I always gravitate towards the music because I'm a musician. But I also see a friend of mine who's also a prepper has just redone his bathroom, and he's got an invisible wall that just opens to get in and out of the closet, and he's taken just weird gnarled pieces of like wood where the root shapes are and used that to make faucets and handcrafted all of those things. It's beautiful. Right. And a lot of times it's just utilitarian, get it done, right? But what if we add the visual aspect to it too?
Where is that?
That's in Texas.
Okay.
I can show you pictures, but he's coming actually too.
Cool.
In October.
That's not David.
It is David.
Oh, I fucking knew it. Of course it's David.
Yeah, he can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's because he chooses to do anything. Like, it's that same thing. It's that attitude of, okay, even if I have to try to do this 17,000 times, the 17,000th and first time I'm going to do this because I've made a decision, and it's making that decision that changes your life.
Well, it's the 5%. Like, what's the difference between a good meal and the absolute best meal you have? A lot of times it's 5%. It's literally how fast they plated it, how fast they got it out to you, the presentation of it. It's literally just that 5% of effort. And imagine how much people stop when the job is done and never say, how can this be better? How can I make it better, right? Mm-hmm. And I get it. Okay, you've got some product, you've got to bring it to market, put it to market, improve it, do a Mark 1 and Mark 2, right? Do a improved version. Or just don't even tell them. Just put that thing out on your first run and add the better piece and the improvements to the second run. And then when they find out, they're going to grumble and they're going to sell the other one and get the better one, or they're going to talk, but they're still going to bring you publicity no matter which side they're on.
A lot of companies, I think it's called like rolling updates or something like that. Like if you get a newer version of the same thing, there's probably a lot of better.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think was going to happen when you waited for the 2021 versus the 22, 23 coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there's updates to it.
It's sort of that minimum viable product
Yeah.
concept too, where you just like, this is what has to happen for this to work, and now I can start adding those things. And that's just like homesteading. You start with chickens, and then you do chickens and ducks, and then you do chickens and ducks and sheep. But if you do them all at once without any preparation going in, you're going to have a really hard year. And I think your product can fail if you, two reasons. One, you waited 17 years to launch the thing because you had to get it perfect. But the other one is you're not constantly looking at that. Even as content creators, you need to go listen to yourself do a show. I don't listen to all my shows after I've recorded them, but I spot check them probably once a week to hear if I have developed any nervous verbal tics or to see what the quality is, or do I sound like my mind is drifting in the middle of the thing so that it can be better.
Is it my imagination? Do you listen to Jack shows?
Sometimes, yes.
Is it my imagination, or is Jack only in the last couple of months been like, yeah, when he ends a sentence, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I haven't asked him because I'm like, okay, maybe he's doing this because that's his mark when he hears that, and he's going to break that into a short. Maybe he's programmed that in there, or maybe he doesn't even realize he's doing it.
He may not realize he's doing that.
It's in a lot of them.
Now I'm not. It's gonna stick out like
nervous
tick.
I meant to message you and send you an example of it, and I turned around. And then if it's not 2 seconds, like it's out.
Well, here's what I think might be going on there is when we have moved from recording our audio podcast in the studio to doing it live, occasionally somebody says something and we're seeing it and it completely derails where your brain was.
Maybe. I don't think that's what this is.
No,
you'll see when you're going to really see it when you see it.
Yeah.
I heard somebody talking about, you know what NPCs are?
No.
Okay. It's non-player characters.
Okay.
They're most of the people you bump into your life. They're there, but they actually do nothing. They don't really exist. It's just it's like Sims, the game Sims, right? Well, the new rage on TikTok and even on YouTube and Instagram are these cam model girls. They dress up and they cross their eyes and they glitch, right? So they pretend to be robots in a video game.
An ego face, I think is what.
Ego face? Well, like they'll just like, they'll turn off. Oh, where was I at? Oh, yes, ice cream, good. And the guys are paying these girls. They're getting like $7,000 for a couple hours of live video through the tips on these videos. And what has happened is all these kids are starting to imitate this now. And you've got young children watching creator content from people that have Tourette syndrome, for instance. So they'll Tourette's out during their videos. The kids have actually developed Tourette's, even though they never had Tourette's, from consuming the content and emulating these people. If you walk around, I saw it years ago. I ran into a friend of mine's brother at Sam's Club, and he had 2 younger girls. And they're doing this. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with your kid? What is she doing? He's like, oh, she's TikToking. I go, you better get that under control. And now she is almost an adult and literally can't stand. I don't know if she even realizes she's doing it, but she'll be in a crowd of people and it looks like popping and locking. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that kid? That's become who she is. Like, she has no control over it at all. And that's through that social media content shit.
That's interesting because that is a symptom of being neurodivergent is that you have these nervous tics.
Oh, yeah. Your kids are
so
weird.
I had them as a kid because I'm a weirdo, and it was the leg shake. Mm-hmm. And what I learned to do was wiggle my toes in my shoes, and nobody can see that. So if I'm getting that, I have to release tension. It's coming out the toes. It's
like attention deficit disorder, right? It's ADD, attention deficit disorder. What the fuck do you think your attention is right now watching these shorts? Like, kids can't, even me. Yeah. I'm like, I need to make a post. And the first thing they show you is those shorts. And I'm like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
And you click it. And then before you know it, 30 minutes have passed.
Literally every time I have to post a TikTok video, I end up watching a bunch of TikToks.
Because you have to wait for the video to upload, and then you start, and then you go down the Generation X. Have you seen the Chicken Wars yet?
No.
So some guy did a video saying,
I sent this to you.
Yeah. Did you send that
yes.
to me? Yeah. So I guess so. I watched it last night, and it's all these people like showing their army of chickens, and one guy started, and everybody's been upping the ante. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that took 15 minutes
Or
of my
cat
night last
videos.
night. Yeah.
Yep.
I always like the "What are you cooking?" where somebody commentates on somebody else cooking some bullshit.
Oh yeah.
One lady made mac and cheese in a toilet.
So that's actually another thing, right? There's people starting entire YouTube channels where they actually build no content. All they do is replay people's content, cut it, and then run it through AI. But reaction videos are pretty big too. We could take something that we really think is of use, play it, add a little bit of text in at the end or the beginning or the middle of it, and that's new content. And now that gets publicized. And if it's a very high ranked video and you rip and use those same hashtags, you will get the eyeballs. It's just like using the most popular music on shorts on Instagram. It's going to go into the feed. Like the people that they're going, there's people, you're going to get thousands and thousands of views the first minute that you put those things up because you use that
There's
music.
something I just learned today.
The viral music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
I think that's how TikTok works because everybody wants
Instagram
to use the
too.
TikTok sounds,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and you just grab whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's like trends. Like I can't think of any right now, but you've heard a bunch of the same video. Like like
Yeah, you'll
sound.
notice it.
Yeah.
So like Amazon affiliate stores, right? We can do Amazon links in all of our products, right? So this pin's awesome. I bought it on Amazon, guys. You better hurry up. This is the best thing, man. You want a girlfriend? I know you're lonely. You want to get a girlfriend? You better get this pin right here.
pin.
Boom, there's the link. And then we take our link and put it and it downloads the cookie. But what you can do is you just search on Google most popular, highest seller, or I sent you the video today on it.
I watched it.
And then you build your video around that. And then you, Pinterest is a really big thing. A buddy of mine, big business dude, said, hey, you should probably set up a Pinterest. I just sat in a whole board meeting with all the people from Pinterest, and there's some things going on. And I lost it off my radar for a few years. We do have a Pinterest, but fuck, man, you get me in Pinterest, I'm going to find a bunch of shit that I didn't know I wanted to buy. Holy cow,
Yeah.
Pinterest, you'll get sucked in there. But they're allowing click-through links and affiliate marketing links and such in there. So you can take those trends, build out your video, and put your link in there and drive those people to your Amazon click-through. And they're paying out, like I always heard it was 1% to 2%, but they're actually paying out a lot higher percentages on some things now. So it just all adds up. It's that multiple revenue streams. That's why I'm telling everybody, like, what should I do? What's my passion? I don't give a shit what it is, but build social media around it and somebody will show up to watch it. And once you get to a certain level, the social media you are going to be your product. It doesn't even matter what your product started as.
It's the tiny decisions you make every day that determine your success or failure. And so the big decision about what should I do is less important than the doing it every day consistently.
That's where I was going to, it's the more important thing is that you do something. Like you have, I'm sure there's somebody listening that really, I'd be like, nope, you have no good ideas. But everybody has some good ideas. It doesn't really matter because most people do none of their ideas. They just don't. How many times have we like, hey, let's build this out. Let's do this, this, this. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. Why the fuck are we doing it tomorrow? Why didn't we just do it right the fuck now? And if it doesn't come out, that was practice for tomorrow. If it doesn't come out perfect, and usually most people are never going to get to perfect, so you better just upload something.
Perfect doesn't exist, and it kills creativity. If you try to get perfect, then you're just going to fuck up the good product that you had started with,
Yep. Paralysis through analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. And all of those things. It's not that sentiment that's gotten me through a lot of things because I want things to be perfect, but
you're never going to be perfect.
Done is a good idea first, and then we can work on perfect.
Done is a good idea.
Finished.
Yeah. You don't pay me because it takes me 15 minutes to build a product. You pay me because after 35 years, I'm really good at building it and can build it in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're so fast.
You're so fast.
You're so fast.
All right, so Self-Reliance Festival, what are you doing here? Why are you here?
I'm here because we wanted to walk the property because we decided we needed 2 tents for presentations.
2 circus tents. Can we have chimpanzees?
Only if you get them.
Can you get chimpanzees?
I'm sure we could find something.
I'm not opposed to chimpanzees at SRF. We'll learn something from them.
You haven't watched many chimpanzee movies. Just put in chimpanzee and Joe Rogan.
I found something on TikTok the other day. It was a 911
I'm sure there's a bunch of them involving chimpanzees.
So, this chimp was like eating this lady's face, and the 911 operator sounded like he was like listening to get the gossip. He was like, "Oh, really? What else did he do?" And she's like, and she was, he was eating her face and all that stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, does she have a gun?" Like the 911 operator was gossiping instead of like sending people.
Well, I wasn't thinking chimpanzees running around free.
Well, they never start out free.
Yeah.
It's the chimpanzee that eats your face off. I don't know. He was fine yesterday. That's always what it is, man. They have superhuman. They have that chimpanzee strength.
I think what I'm most excited about is hearing more stories of people who come here, go home, and start doing shit, and then come back as a vendor the next time, or come back because we've got the couple of good launch stories, but I hear them all the time. I left and I started my business. Like, we have somebody who's not coming back because she's doing small construction jobs now all over her community, and she's too busy.
That's good.
And that's what she needs to do right now. She'll probably be back next year, but like all of that, like people who are sitting there saying, "What do? I feel so hopeless," are exactly the people who should come, because you're going to be around a bunch of people who've gotten over that shit and they're not going to stand for it. And then you're going to leave wanting to do something different with your life.
So Wrangler Star did a video on some of my products yesterday. He's done several of them. And in the live, I think it was in the live feed, somebody had asked him, he's like, "Hey, Cody," I think he's 50, 52, my age.
He looks like about
and he's been doing this thing. He's got I don't know how much property he's got. He's got like miles of river on his property. And he's been getting in the I don't know what river that is. It's 40 degrees though. And he gets in there and he's in the water for like 10 minutes every day doing this cold plunge stuff. And he's like, I wouldn't do it myself. I would definitely find reasons not to, but I have people that show up and I can't not do it, right? They've come here to do this. And I saw some kid on there and he said, I'm 25 and I just don't, how do I get the motivation to do this? Or maybe that was on my video where the kid asked that. He's like, how do you get motivation? You don't get motivation. You just fucking stand up and you do it. They're like, there is not, like, I need people to realize it is literally the same as that light switch on the wall. Flip the light switch, motherfucker. That's literally the difference between doing and not doing. Just stand up.
Yeah.
I know when I'm putting fucking 12 donuts in my mouth, they shouldn't fucking go there. I eat one and then I put them in the dumpster. And I don't leave them in the box in the dumpster. I dump them out of the box because I might go get them out of the box, right? You know what right and wrong is. You know when you look at the clock. I know when I look at the clock at 4 o'clock, I'm like, I got 30 more minutes. I know if I fucking go to sleep for 30 more minutes, I'm not getting up at 4:30. That's why I get up at 4 or 3:30. Or if I don't make it by 4:30 and it's 4:45, I'm still getting up. It's really, really comfortable in my bed. I don't want to get up. I don't want to go get in some cold shit. I don't want to go fucking work out. But I know what not doing that results in. I know what happens with that. And that's literally the difference between doing and not doing, is just doing it. You have to fucking show up and you have to do it.
And some days you wake up and you do want to do it.
Yep.
And then other days, for 75 hard, some days all the way through the frickin' workouts, both of them. I'm there rowing as hard as I can or whatever. Every pull. Fuck. But that was an important experience for me to go through. Because there have been times when I'm telling myself something's too hard that I'm just telling myself it's too hard, and it's not too hard. It's like I have spent more time telling myself this is too hard than just doing the fucking thing.
That's what I was going to say. So it clicked for me when I was like a late teenager. I heard a guy telling a story about how he left a coffee mug in his truck one day, and for the rest of the week, every time he got out of the truck, he was like, I should take that coffee mug in.
That's my entire life every day.
Yeah, and then he realized like he spent 10 times more energy thinking about how he should have done that than if he just did it the first time. You know?
And when you do the easy things like that, you have momentum. Whether you believe it or not, something changes. The chemistry in your brain changes, and you have accomplishment. I walk past shit all the time. I'm like, I should probably pick that up. Yeah, I brought in 1,000 pounds of feed yesterday and 50-pound sacks yesterday, right? Well, the kids load that shit at the co-op. I pulled up, and I'm like, it's 105 degrees out here. I'll wait till later. And then it was later, and then I realized, oh, shit, all of that feed is in the truck. I had this whole conversation for 5 minutes. I'm going to get all dirty. I'm going to take a shower. I don't want to do this shit. Well, maybe it's not going to rain. If it rains, it's going to ruin all that feed. Maybe it's not going to rain. Well, maybe the thing's wrong. Maybe it's really not going to rain, right? And I went and did it. It took 5 minutes to unload it all.
Yeah.
Came inside, took a shower, put on clean clothes, did the live feed. But I'm like a 5-year-old out there kicking shit because mom's making me clean up my room. I mean, it's literally a light switch. You just fucking stand up and you go do it.
You decide.
Yeah, you have to do difficult shit. Not that that's difficult, but you have to do shit you don't want to do and difficult shit, and it just becomes, it's just easy.
And that's the thing about doing the shit that you don't want to, because when you want to, it's easy. When you don't want to, that's when it's important that you do it.
Yeah, we talk about eating the frog, right? You eat the frog because that's your feed unloading was the frog. Eat it as soon as you can eat it, because then you won't be thinking about the frog the rest of the day. Otherwise, that frog slows you down all day long.
Can we have a goldfish swallowing contest?
Sure.
Not me, but I mean other people.
We have to have a good prize. Like, what can we offer?
You don't even have to.
I'm not going to swallow goldfish, but other people will.
You don't even have to have a good prize. They'll just do it.
Yeah, we could do it to raise money.
She hasn't seen any of the old party videos, has she? She has no idea.
I probably have not remembered.
Yeah.
I have put things like that mostly out of my brain.
I was talking to that kid in there about that thing that you guys were talking about.
The shot collar?
Yes. And I was telling him, I was like, like somebody else wanted something pretty expensive and they got it. And he was like, I do want a new pair of shoes. So,
see, I bought that guy a truck.
Yeah.
Let me put this shot. That he didn't get it for the truck. But
I was thinking of the bag.
We had a shot collar and we put it on. I'm like, okay, look, this only has like a couple 100-foot range. So if you can run fast enough, I won't be able to stun. It had like a mile range on it. Mm-hmm. So he's running up the hill and I zip him. He kind of pops. I turn it up, hit him, and he kind of skips. Finally, I'm hitting him, and like you can see his skeleton through his skin. Not really, but like I'd hit him, and he'd jump all up in the air like a deer or a gazelle. Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, but no. But my point is I told him that you've given a hefty amount of money for that, and he said, "Well, I'll take a pair of shoes. How much can a pair of shoes cost?"
He's just not. He doesn't know, man.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has no idea. All right, so Self-Reliance Festival. Why should they come out to Self-Reliance Festival?
Why should somebody who says they can't come anyway?
Well, they've already talked themselves out of it. I know that's not what we're looking for a soundbite right here.
Well,
it'll get out eventually.
Yeah, I know. Basically, here's the thing. Like right now, people are feeling fearful about spending the $75 to buy the ticket because the economy's shitty.
You want me to tell you what needs to happen?
Yeah.
You need better attendees and clients and customers.
Okay.
Stop. I'm not worried about getting this out. I'm not worried about talking people into it. We have so many people. We are literally at the point where we can't even have more people. So we just need to not even market. We just need to be in front of a broader audience. Because every 100 that look at it, it's the I can't attitude. You're absolutely right. You can't. Mm-hmm. Because they're not saying, how can I? And if you can't afford $75, do you want me to say what I really want to say?
Say whatever you want, John. I can use it or not.
I mean,
Well, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so $75 is going to be the cheapest part of your trip to get.
Yeah.
Except for if you camp.
Man, we would.
And if you are at the edge of your budget and you want to come out and change your life by meeting the right kind of people who will be the right kind of community you need around you and not a bunch of fucking vampires, get yourself a tent, borrow a tent, whatever. Come out here and camp. It's $75 for the ticket right now, $95 after August 1st.
We have people that fly
Bring
here from
sandwiches.
other countries.
Like, you don't have to spend a lot out here.
People haven't road tripped. I mean, I know people that camp and Appalachian Trail and do all that shit, but most people have no calluses on their hands. Like when I said that, I kind of said it as a joke, but most people, when you shake their hands, they don't have any calluses on their hands. And those are people that are waiting for society to collapse or whatever, but they can't even figure out, like, what if your tornado wiped out your whole entire town? You're the only person alive. Are you just going to sit there and wait for something? You're just going to die there? Like, you can't even figure out how to get someplace when transportation works. What are you going to do when it doesn't work? And I'm not the sales guy. Why should I buy this? Well, you shouldn't buy it. I got 12 other motherfuckers that'll buy it in the next 60 seconds, literally. And I'm not the I'm not the good salesperson. I tell people all the time, what should I buy? You shouldn't fucking buy anything if you're in here and you don't know what you want to buy.
John is a good salesperson, and here's why. He knows the most important word in sales. No.
That's real. That's real. Yeah. I walked into a store years ago. I walked in, I think it was a Jared's. He took her to Jared's. Yeah, that's that place. And this kid worked there, and I walked in there, and I'm like, hey, I want to see the Tag Heuer, Tag Heuer. I know I'm saying it wrong. I don't care. I own all of them, and you don't. I'm glad you know how to pronounce it. Tag Heuer Formula Ones had come out, I don't know, years ago. And they had 5 or 6 different colors. And I'm like, hey, I want this black and red watch. Can you show me one of these? And he showed it to me, and he's like, hey, we have this other one here. It's not really for everybody. And I'm like, how much is that? He's like, it's $10,000. I'm like, I'm not buying a $2,000 watch, much less a 10. He's like, yeah, I get it, man. Most people, it's not for everybody. You probably couldn't even buy it anyways. It's probably sold. And he had said some other stuff. He's like, it's like, you go to the car lot when you go to the Chevy dealer, and every Chevy dealer's got, Corvettes there, but you went in there to see the Camaro because it's just like a Corvette, right? It's just like a Corvette, same motor, just costs a quarter, Corvette, it's not for everybody. You're probably not ready for it. But when you're ready, we'll have one. And that motherfucker planted that seed in my head. I went back a week later. Actually, when we left, I go, I'm going to hire that kid. And the man goes, what are we going to do? I go, I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm hiring that dude. And that was Pablo. Colin came and worked for years for us. But I did go back a week later and went to buy the $10,000 watch. And he's like, we don't have it. I'm like, you better fucking get it. And he did. He transferred it in, and I bought that. I have it. It's a Grand Carrera. But that's that no. He planted that, and I bought all of them. I bought every Formula One there was that year. Bought the Grand Carreras. We went out to Las Vegas, and I bought a bunch of stuff at the tag shop there. But that was all from that planting that seed when he said I couldn't, right? And then you automatically figure out how you can. Because if I took one of your children and said, you're never going to see this kid again, or if somebody took your wife, you all of a sudden would be able to figure out how to make the money. And there's not a comparison between the two. And I don't give a shit whether you come do this or not. I need you to know that you can, and don't tell me the reasons you can't. If you don't want to come, you just say you don't want to come. That's fine. I don't give a shit what you do until you start telling me what you can't do. And if you think you can't do some stuff and you fucking come out here, you're going to see all this shit here I did. Not me and a bunch of fucking people. I did all of this shit. Me. Every fucking day, an hour at a time. And when I miss an hour, sometimes I spend the whole week. But all this shit here on the property, me, one fucking person, in addition to running a business and making video content and employing dozens of people, I did all of the fucking work here on this property. Except for all the big stuff. I didn't do any of that.
Except for those ones.
But it's just how can I, right?
Yeah.
You just have to want to do it. That's it.
What do you look forward to most about Self-Reliance Festival?
Seeing people, making like real relationships. Like if you want to be my friend, like really be my friend, you have to come here. Like we can communicate and stuff, but like my best friends and my biggest business people and stuff like that, my relationships that are important to me, they came here. Like it was important for me to see what you were doing. I went to where you were, and I owed you that because you came here. Right. So like Rob, that dude I showed you, that's a friend of mine, Rob Bailey. Mm-hmm. If you want to be friends with Rob though, you have to go to where Rob is and bring something of value to be friends with Rob. And I don't need you to bring me anything, but if you want to be friends with me, you have to come here. I see my friends here. Right. I recently heard, Alex Harmozy say, don't invite me to your wedding. If I haven't hung out with you in a year, I'm not coming to hang out with you. I'm not coming to your funeral. I'm not coming to your wedding. I'm not coming to your party. If it hasn't been important enough for me or you to be present and hang out in the last year, I'm not on the list. Because people always ask him, what should I do? How should I make money? And we're talking to a dude that's making millions and millions of dollars every week. And he's like, you just have to buckle down. And you should really listen to his stories. Because when you're thinking you can't do something and then you listen to his stories, you're like, holy shit. Because people are like, how do I do these things? Or I'm like, dude, you don't want to ask me financial advice. The way I live, you would kill yourself several times a year. Like we're not made the same. You can be, but you are not currently. So that I don't know. Come out here, meet some people. You're going to meet real people that do real things. And if you're weak and timid, there's going to be people that you will gravitate to. If you want to be super strong and alpha, there's plenty of those dudes here, and you just have to, like, you could have 5 people literally delivering the same message off of a piece of paper, but you're going to gravitate towards one of them by the way they present it or just something about them. It's like going to church, right? You could walk into 100 churches, but only one church is for you. And it's like that. So a lot of people spend a lot of time surrounding themselves by people that are beneath them. And I know we're not supposed to say anybody's beneath us and we're all equal. And that's bullshit. That's some bullshit you tell you, and you heard some person tell you that. And that's not the case, because you, every single one of you, want to be better and can be better. And when you surround yourself by people that are not better than you, you are who they all look up to, and you spend all your time looking down at them. So if you're not around people that are better than you, you're always going to be there, and that's as high as you can be calibrated. And you are living in a world, and you have no idea what the rest of the world looks like. And there's a lot of parts of the world where you can be the best at whatever it is you are. There is always another door. Once you achieve that level, there's another door that you get invited into, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't even know this was here. I heard a lady this morning talking about liberal arts studies. She was actually Candace Owens' first hire. She was just on Andy Frisella's show. And she was super, like crazy liberal. And she said, you know, when Trump came into office, I'd actually happened to watch one of his presentations full. And I think she said it even in person. And she's like, you know, I hated Trump, but I listened to all of this, and then I heard the news presenting it, and it was not at all what he had said. So she started looking at some things and kind of just made her journey over a couple of years. And she was actually went and worked for Candace Owens. When Candace hired her first person, she was Candace Owens, the first employee. And she was saying, shit, I don't know why I even went down. I was headed somewhere. I don't remember where I was going with this.
Just go there.
I don't know. But the liberal arts studies stuff, she said, you know, I went to school, and she went to Harvard. And she's like, you know, I was around people at Harvard that was just like complete idiots. And I don't mean like just doing dumb stuff, like physically could not function in the world. We have this perception of people because they're up here, right? I would say Hunter Biden's probably, at some point, Hunter Biden probably was very capable. But look at what a wreck and a mess he is now. Now he's under the microscope, of course, but it's like that, right? I've said that before. You know, I've met people that are very high in their industries and stuff, and you're like, this dude can't even drive himself places, and he's put on this pedestal, and we have this perception of him, and that's not at all what reality is. It's like your politicians right now, right? You have all these Mitch McConnell just had a fucking stroke, right? But they're going to figure out how to keep him as a congressman. Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, those folks, they can't legally even operate a vehicle, they physically can't operate a vehicle, literally cannot walk out of their house with their walkers, get in a car and drive themselves anywhere, but they're running the country. That's just perception. Like, the world is not what we think it is. You want to see what the real world is, or at least what my real world, what Nicole's real world is? You want to meet real people that you see in the videos? Come out to SRF. Ask questions. You're going to see when you come out to Self-Reliance Festival that it is exactly what you see in my videos, at least. This place, I don't even clean it up. I'm sure it drives the ladies that put this on. They're like, fucking John, man, this would be so much better if we just clean this up. I don't even clean it up for you. Like, you're going to see exactly how it is for real. And whatever the perception is, I do that in addition to everything else I do. So come out, sit down, make friends. You're going to meet people. You got a business, you'll end up doing business with people. You say you're lonely, you will meet people. But you have to come out. Like, we had a kid last week's like, man, it'd be good if we could just have, like, everybody wears a badge. If we could put badges on the single women. I'm like, it's a great idea.
He sends that guy to me.
I'm like, come here, let me introduce you to Nicole. But I get it, man. But I got to talk to that kid, right? He got drunk, and we talked to him for hours, and I'm like, look, man, you just got to walk up and ask him. there's a lot of approaches. You could say the most crude off the raw shit. You say it to 100 people, one of them's going to be like, okay, that sounds great. It's just, you're going to have to practice. You want to know how to talk to people? Start talking to people.
The answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yep. Figure out, become a salesman. I just look back. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the camera. He's like, am I supposed to say something? Sell yourself. I had a kid, salesman, right? I had this kid, Mike, came in my shop, and I don't even remember coming in the shop. He finally came in my shop, and he brought 3 Marines with him. And my sales manager, my office manager, Lene, they occupied her at the front of the store, and he went back into my office and got on my computer and pulled up a website. And he's like, hey man, I built you a website. I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. He's like, yeah, that's what you said the last 6 months. I'm like, I don't even remember that. And he has told me like many times over the years, he's like, yeah, dude, I came in there like 5 or 6 times. I'm like, let me build you a website. I'm a really good web designer. He was doing all this stuff. His brother did a bunch of the very beginnings of the porn online website stuff. So they knew the internet. He built a website, pulled it up. He's like, here's your website. And I'm like, holy shit, this is badass. He goes, yeah, I know. It's kind of what I do. But had he not taken the initiative, and like he worked there for years and he has another company now, and there was a lot of shit between us. There was some ups and some downs. But that kid is like, he has a house in Fallbrook on top of a mountain that you can see the ocean from in Oceanside there, right? He's done very, very well for himself. And that's just the initiative. He sells himself.
That's how I got into a bunch of writers' rooms in LA. I would make it a habit of sending secretaries chocolates, and then the next day sending a FedEx that had to be signed for with scripts of mine in it. Because you get curious, why do I need to sign for like a certified letter?
Oh, yeah.
And then they open it up, and then the lady's already like, oh, that guy just sent me chocolate. He seems cool, like, and that's, I would always get callbacks for those people. Send like a random email, you never hear anything back.
Yeah.
Yep.
We get cold emails every day. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is this real? Is this not real? I look at them.
Yeah.
Delete. But now they've gotten smart. They're like, hey, man, your TikTok page is really pretty good. And then I read, I'm like, this is bullshit, right? Somebody hit me up the other day. He's like, hey, man, I saw you on Wrangler Star. I knew about your company. I've been following you. I love what you're doing on social media. I can really optimize your TikTok. And I'm like, what's my TikTok page? And he knew both of them. So he wasn't bullshitting, but I thought for sure it was bullshit. Yeah. Same thing happened last night. Saw you on Wrangler Star, blah, blah, blah. We went back and forth, a couple email exchanges. He's like, hey, I own this company. We are the best in the business for anything Shopify. Anything you need. You need apps built. You need optimization. You need anything done on Shopify. I'm your dude. We are looking. We're actually looking for somebody to do some shit on Shopify. Mm-hmm. Had that dude not taken the initiative, and I mean, I'm sure we're nothing compared to what he's doing. Like, we had a dude that had come in to do some website shit, and I thought I was fucking, I'm like, man, this motherfucker. I'm like, he probably doesn't know what he's talking about. He had done North Face's website, like the North Face company.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. So what's next? What are you doing the rest of the day?
We're going to do a bunch of Self-Reliance Festival programming, and we're changing the duties of the event coordination staff. So we're basically laying it all out, redefining roles. I know that sounds really nerdy and not super fun, but it's necessary now so that we're not running around like chickens with our heads cut off, which we will probably see at Self-Reliance Festival.
Let me interpret. Everybody's like, I don't want to be the guy that has to tell John what he has to do. So that's what's going on right here. Who's John's handler? That's
me. Because I'm not scared of you.
It's not about being scared.
Here's the thing about John, right?
You're
like, hey, John, can you go over there and do that?
Fuck
and
no.
You know he says? No. And I'm like, okay. And I walk away, and then sometimes he's like, okay, I'll do it. And other times he's like, no, I'm really not. And I just don't argue because
give an example of what I wouldn't do.
I don't know. Well, I mean, you'll always do things at the events that make sense, but you'll say no most often is like, can we do this here? And you'll say no, and then I don't need to know why.
Let me give you an example, okay?
Can we put the grist mill on the gravel? No, because it will grow weeds.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Fucking everything grows. They're like, well, here's an example, right? hey, do you want us to sweep the garage out? And I'm like, no, my guys will get it.
Oh, okay.
And here's what happens. We hand brooms to 20 people, and everybody knows how to sweep. But they sweep, and when you walk in the garage, it's a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
And that's all over all the gym equipment. Or remember when I moved all the motorcycles out of the garage?
Yeah.
Do you know where the motorcycles are?
No.
Nor do I.
Ouch.
They're not in the garage.
Oh.
Because I'll never put them back. They're sitting in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
I
So at
just
least
won't.
they're not out in the rain.
Yeah. But they're also not in my garage.
I thought you were missing several motorcycles.
No, I know where they're at.
Yeah.
I got 20.
This is why we got a second tent, because then we don't have to move motorcycles.
Yeah, I
out of
don't
the
care
garage.
about moving them.
Yeah.
Because when we've had 960 people on the property. When I say we had 1,000 people at a party, it was actually 963. And that's when dudes are like, I can't afford $75 to come to Self-Reliance Festival. I understand.
Don't.
I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, do you, whatever that is. But the guy that's telling you he can't afford $75, he ain't coming either. Because if he can't afford $75 to get here, he also can't afford the fuel to drive from California, where he's at or whatever. While somebody can't afford $75 to come out here, I got 7 dudes that fly here separately from Japan. I got dudes that come from Norway, Finland, Sweden, Germany, Israel, Ireland. We had a kid come in for our last 4th of July party that we did, and he showed up a week early, or he showed up on the 4th of July. And we were calling it the 4th of July party, but we weren't doing it till the following week. He took a week's leave from the Irish military, New Zealand, and flew out here. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm here for the party. I'm like, oh, shit. That's next week. He's like, well, it was the 4th of July party, mate. I'm like, yeah, man, I fucked you on that. But that dude, like those people, it was important enough for them to come out from other countries. So I get it. I'm not coming to your house either. I totally understand. I get it.
I don't think people realize the opportunity they miss by coming to something like this, because it's not just that's if you want to meet John Willis or Nicole Sauce or Joel Salatin or Jack Spirko or anybody else is going to be here that are the big names you've followed. It's not just meeting them. There's actually time to talk. And all you have to do is walk up and introduce yourself and be able to walk fast enough to keep up with John, and you can talk to John.
Yeah.
And he's going to drop some bomb on you that you didn't think about that could change your life in passing, just in the conversation.
Well, we look for opportunities. And that's a reciprocal opportunity. That's why I ask people, there's a bunch of bullshit going around, like when you meet a person and they ask what you do so they can assess your value. Okay, maybe in your world, maybe that's true to people who have nothing and that's their excuse for non-action. But I ask what you do so that I know what I can do business-wise with you or who I can put you with so that you can climb yourself up a little bit higher. I don't give a shit. You tell me you drive a trash truck. Like, I don't need a trash truck driver. I have one. But I'm gonna have opportunity for you, or I'm gonna have what do you do for a hobby, right? What do you make? Kid came in here and he's like, my business. I'm like, how much money did you make this month? He's like, well, I haven't made any money. I'm like, that's not business. That's playing business. What's your product? And I still don't even know what his fucking product was. But he did walk in here 2 weeks ago and had a fucking product. I'm like, dude, this is pretty badass. And they're going to production right now. I'm like, this is cool. Get your URL, get your website, secure all your shit right now before you tell another fucking person. He brought me a patch. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I go, you fucked up though. Who designed this? Well, my friend, she's a graphic designer, my wife's friend, and she went to school. I go, well, she didn't fucking listen, because while this patch is super badass, it doesn't have your fucking company name on it. It looks really cool. Yep. It's a first aid cross, first aid plus sign. Yeah. It's got a rifle with the snake wrapped around it, like the medical snake, I go, make the rifle twice as big, top to bottom, bring the snake around it, move your patch out 1/4 inch, put your URL on this patch. Everybody needs to know what it is. Like that, but he took the effort. Like he has secured all the names and shit. I can't tell you how many people, they tell me that their company name, and I go to look it up and it's not there. I'm like, hey, and I don't tell them public, front facing. I message them and I'm like, hey, I can't find your shit. That means you didn't get it. You better get it before, because you told me, you've also told 100 other people. Mm-hmm. The dude that's going to take your branding and squat on it, cyber squat, and buy your URLs is some motherfucker you call a friend. It's not some random dude. And it's friends that we share those things with.
And it's not fun getting that property back through trademark law, which is possible but expensive.
Man, we got a pretty big company right now, and somebody has their URL. It's $80,000. Brandel, his whole entire name on Instagram. That's why I don't say his last name. Some wife and daughter have this page, have posted like 3 things. She wants $7,000 for it. I'm like, fucking buy it, Brandel.
Yeah, buy it. Why is it only $7,000?
Just get it.
Yeah.
Just be done with it. Yeah, that's why I ask people what that is, and those are the conversations they have. And the cheat code is, you pay whatever it is to come to the class the day before. This time it's Zero to Hero radio class. You could probably do it even a little less expensive. I don't know what Chuck's class. He's got a half-day class, I thought, also.
His is during the event.
During?
Yeah.
But if you come in to that class, you have access to the property here. And what that really means is you have access to all the dudes that are here before the event. And we sit around and tell fucking fish stories and Bigfoot stories and all kinds of shit. You want to talk conspiracy theory? Dudes are always like, I want to come hang out with you. I'm like, you got one chance to hang, and that's at a party. The only time I sit my ass in a chair where I'm not working is at a party. I might have a cup of something in my hand. That's the only time you'll ever see that. And that's when I sit around and we bullshit with people. And it can be real conversations, but that's how you get here, and you get to talk to Jack Spirko before there's 500 people wanting to talk to Jack Spirko. And just don't, if you're a weirdo. People tell you, because Jack will be like, that guy's a weirdo. Not me, but I mean you.
You know, my favorite weirdo story was somebody who showed up early last time and took the pre-class, and he was kind of a weirdo vibe. And he was asking how to help set up. And I hadn't really felt him out yet. And I said something. He's like, I know I'm a weirdo. It's just my energy, but I'm a nice guy, and this is what I'm willing to do. And then he had a tangible plan.
Nice
and I was
guy.
like,
did he actually say he was a nice guy?
He didn't say he was a nice guy, but he was basically like, I know I'm weird, or I come off as weird.
That's code for serial killer.
That's fine. He did what he said he was going to do, and that's what mattered to me. And I liked him.
That's good.
But he knew that he like puts off an energy that he's like, this is who I am, and this is who I will always be, and I'm going to be this person. I don't care what nobody thinks. And I'm like, I like that. I like that in a person.
If he means it, fucking more power to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better than the other kind of weirdo stories that happen.
Oh, there's plenty of weirdo stories. There's plenty of them.
Yep.
But there's some good dudes. Like, I don't know his name, man. He sent me a fucking handwritten letter and some T-shirts and albums and shit. In God We Bust.
Sam?
He's always going to be in God We Bust to me. That dude showed up, and we were just talking, and he just had like an energy about him. Like, Justin and I were in the kitchen. I think we were eating something before we came out and did our podcast. And then we stood and talked to that dude for like an hour, because like there was just something about him. Like, I knew that I can't even explain it. You know that you need to talk to this person. And we had some great conversations, and he was even here. Like, we spent hours, late Saturday night hanging out also. He had a dude with him who turns out wasn't even with him. I just assumed that was his buddy, and we're talking. We're up in my office, and we're upstairs, and we're talking about all kinds of shit. And afterwards, Sam's like, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, "What do you mean? That's your boy?" We have no idea. We didn't know who that dude was.
I know the dude of which you speak.
Yeah, there's some good stories about him. Yeah. I actually hope he comes back. I hope that the dude we didn't know, I hope he comes back.
Whatever your name is, come back.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
All right, so in closing, what do you got?
I got a million new ideas.
Let's hear them.
I don't want to talk about all my million new ideas.
Okay, maybe we're not closing.
We're not closing. No. I think what I've got right now is a new passion for seeing more of the community get stronger.
What lit that?
75 Hard.
Yep. So you should probably do it again.
I probably will.
Like now.
I don't want to do it right now.
Why?
Because I don't want to drink a gallon of water a day at this hot minute.
Is it really about the water?
It's really about the water.
Because you can't have you can't have alcohol, right?
Alcohol's not the problem,
You
though.
can't have alcohol in the next phase.
That's fine. That's not a big deal. I did have alcohol at Jack's,
Yeah.
but that was after 75 Hard. And I think that's the thing, is all of those stupid things that you can't do didn't really matter to me anyway. I don't want to do them. My whole reward system has changed.
Is this because you're scared of the cold?
No. I get a cold shower every day because it takes 1:45 for the water to get.
Yeah,
from the
I thought I was.
outside
Yeah, I thought I was taking a cold shower too. I thought I was doing so good. I'm up to like 5 minutes. I'm freezing, and then I got a thermometer.
Yeah,
it was 60 degrees.
But I keep seeing these almost things happen with people where that spark is there and they don't quite get it done, and I'm looking at new ways to get people connected.
You know why they didn't do it?
Because they chose not to.
That's literally. It's not even that they chose.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's not even to the point of choosing. It's literally just you don't think about it. You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I fucking put a bag over your head, you're gonna figure out how to get the bag off your head you're gonna immediately start trying, but you got about a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. It literally is like that. You're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. And people ask me, and I'll give you some ideas or whatever. I will tell you what I would do, and then they're gonna ask you again, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
if there's ever a third time, you better come to me with some fucking evidence of success.
Putting people in the place with each other and let it happen or not happen. I agree with that. But also, I think being the model of how it can happen, which you do really well. Like, I think it's one part holding yourself accountable at 4:45 in the morning when you shoot those videos, but also people see that you're actually up before the sun doing shit. And it's like, well, if that motherfucker can do it, then I can get my ass out of bed, or I can do 75 hard. I knew I wasn't going to. The only thing that would have made me fail, because everybody at the beginning was like, you're not going to make it, Nicole.
Who said that?
Oh, just
Did
other
somebody
random
really
people.
say that to you?
Yeah.
They don't
you said it to me jokingly.
But they don't get access, right?
Right.
It's literally more important. Like, you know, we always tell you be around better people.
Yeah.
You could actually get way further in your life by getting away from and you don't even have to get away from them. Just don't let them near you.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think, it's more important to remove negative people than to even add positive people.
But if you are a content creator and you're out on the internet, people hurl negative things at you and whatever. And that is what it is.
Yeah, it's super hard for me.
The only thing that would have stopped that, though, I would have had to be like deep in the flu or in the hospital, because the hardest part of 75 hard is scheduling 2 45-minute chunks of time to work out. That's literally it. And that makes you think, like, I thought. And
one has to be outside.
That's not the problem. You just
no matter what.
Do the first one outside, especially at this time of year, because it's hot in the middle of the day. But I was thinking 3 months out, basically, or 2.5 months out on a business trip I knew I had where my flight was at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody game plan. Like, you're the first person.
I was like, how am I going to get 2 workouts in that day that are not both like back to back at midnight? But yeah. But that was good for me for other reasons.
What's your meal plans look like right now?
I'm still ketovore. I'm sticking to it. I am allowing myself alcohol 1 time a week right now.
So just very little processed food.
No processed. Okay, so I did ketovore and no processed foods, no grains of any kind. So I cut all flour, rice, any of that out. And then I was keeping my carbs. I'm still keeping my carbs down. But it was also all natural foods. So traveling was a bit of a challenge because, like, you can go to a steakhouse and order a steak. That's basically what you can do. Or I was bringing freeze-dried meals with me that I made.
You can't go to IHOP and order eggs, though.
No.
You know why?
I don't know, but I wouldn't anyway.
Because all the
disgusting.
Denny's and all those eggs are full of fucking pancake batter.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's real.
That's why you have to order a real egg, like sunny side up.
Who's the world famous CrossFit dude? The best CrossFit dude in the world. I can't remember.
Nick Froning.
Froning. Okay,
Yeah.
So Froning lives right next to you.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
Yes. I did CrossFit.
Do you want an introduction to him?
Sure.
I think you should become CrossFit chick.
I was a CrossFit chick before.
But I mean, like, you should become like a vegan, right? They're hard to be friends with because.
Oh gosh, yeah, because CrossFit's the best thing ever.
Yeah, because how do you know there's a CrossFitter in the room?
I kind of went through that phase. I did because I was like, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the box I used to go to went out of business during COVID.
So there's a huge one in where's
Cookville?
Is that where Brandel lives?
Oh, I don't know where Brandel lives.
Wherever.
Where's the
Buc-ee's?
That's Crossville.
That's where that dude's at. He's got a couple buildings set up and
because he had one. He had a box in Cookville. It was pretty big.
Is that what we're calling them boxes?
Boxes. They're boxes now, Jim.
I mean something else than me.
Well, that's because you're an old man.
Dirty old man.
He's a dirty old man.
Yeah,
so the first thing anybody ever gave me for my podcast, because occasionally people do, was the box that translates the microphone to the computer. And for months, I was being ridiculed about somebody bought Nicole her box, or got Nicole's box for her.
Somebody gave Rebecca Yeager, James's wife, an F-bomb. And it's like a little hand grenade, and it's got this braided wire at the top for the fuse, and they welded a F on there, right? And it's an F-bomb. Get it? Haha, F-bomb. And she thought it was cool. But I thought it was cool, and she gave it to me, and I still have that. I need to bring that in, and it would cut you all the time. It made me think of that when you said that somebody gave you that thing.
Yeah, they talked about my box a lot that month.
So we posted a short this week about having sex in a bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted so bad to comment as myself, reply to people's comments was like, no, like I'll take it too far.
I haven't even read it.
They're all like, listing all of the places that they've gone to the bathroom to have sex, and what I wanted to say is, if you have to go to the bathroom to have sex in public, you're an amateur.
Where would you do it at?
I don't think I should say, because I told my wife that I was gonna say, and she wasn't comfortable with.
Okay, let's hypothetically say, where did you do it before your wife?
In the middle of a dance club.
Yeah, everybody's done that.
Yeah,
people went to dance clubs for that.
Yeah, stuff like that outside of a bar. Like
they used to have dance clubs where all it was that.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff. So like everybody was like, oh, I went to this truck stop or that. So I was like, I don't need to go to a bathroom. Like you can find
Gotcha.
a way to do it.
Bathrooms are smelly.
Yeah.
Always. My bathrooms in here are clean and they still smell smelly.
Yeah.
That's real. Yeah.
It's just not where the mood strikes.
Nope.
So who got the sign that's behind you? Where'd you get the Tennessee sign from?
I bought that.
You bought that?
Yeah.
I thought somebody made it or you painted it.
No, I
or
bought
something.
it. I've been looking at changing my background. I actually plan to get a sign made with my brand on it.
Who are you gonna have do it?
Don't know. I want to know your person. Actually, I'm interested.
Which sign?
I like those.
Gotcha. How big you want?
About that size.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Send me your vector file. I will have that show up.
Cool.
She should have been like, I want a 6-foot sign.
I don't need a 6-foot sign.
Tell her why she doesn't want a 6-foot sign. Because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fucking fit anywhere. It doesn't work in the camera.
I want, because your head's in the way too.
That's why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So many people complain about not being able to read that sign when Scully's
This one
there.
here where
Yeah.
Jeff said, somebody finally said, oh, I see what it says now. And I went in there and I'm like, well, if you like that, I have these t-shirts available right now because none of you motherfuckers bought them. We got them, yeah. Cool. All right. What are you doing this weekend?
We're doing the SRF retreat overnight at Jen's house.
Is that like you jump on the bed and pillow fights?
Yeah, totally. Like we're all
what
women.
Are you
There's
drinking
gonna be
wine?
PJ wine pillow fight is definitely on the list. And then I'm heading home tomorrow. And what is the project this weekend? Well, I'm definitely hitting the pool on Sunday because Sunday's my lap swimming day.
When you buying your swimming pool?
That's a good question. I want to build an addition on my house to put it in first.
Ooh, big baller. Huh?
You want an indoor pool?
I want a swim spa.
She's buying a above ground.
Like swim spa that has a current.
It's like a tub, but you can
Yeah.
swim
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was sort of like, do I just buy one right now, or do I set it up the way I want it one time? And then I looked at how much they weigh, and I want to put the addition on my house first.
Do you know when people get boat? You know how a first time boat owner, you know how you can tell?
Because they're excited.
Because they're happy.
Because he bought a Bayliner.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Bayliner's got some real yachts, like real stuff. But typically, that's always the joke. You can always tell first time boat owner when you see a guy in a Bayliner, oh, is that your first boat?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably how it is. But there's a place in Jackson called, I want to say it's Baja Pool or something. It's the only pool place in Jackson. And if I was going to have a pool installed, above ground, in ground, whatever, I would use those guys. Those motherfuckers work. You go any weekend, Saturday, Sunday, those dudes got concrete on them. They're in the taco shop. They work all the time. You see them all up and down the interstate. I know somebody's going to be like, John, don't buy a pool there. That's like the Bayliner. But they have, inside there, they have 3 different size swimming.
Like swim spots.
Yeah, with current to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have them with water. So
In them. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've learned.
Well, hold on.
You can go test them in the store. And this is a video series for me now.
Hold on. One of them will shock you when you put your finger in the water. So don't just jump like
on purpose?
No, something's wrong with that pool. It will shock the shit out of you.
It's like the new
So you're saying don't just jump all in.
Yes.
Like, test
Something
it
was
first.
not right there.
So I did one test.
kind of current.
And the lady kept turning up the current to see how fast I could go, and that was really fun. Yeah.
Fucking drown me.
It's funny that you said
Like getting caught under the waterfall.
like spinning. That's why you said that about boats, because that's the way I think of pools. They're fun as long as I don't have to own one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
look,
it's maintenance.
Yeah.
I said that in a video somewhere the other day. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome, that swimming pool. Everybody had to get that swimming pool, and then they have it, and they pay all the maintenance, and then they break it down every winter and winterize it, and they've swam in the pool once.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm not that person. I will actually swim in that pool because that is my favorite workout. Is swimming laps.
Have you ever done cold plunge?
No.
So, but you know what they are.
Yeah.
Right? They're on your radar.
Yeah,
So
are.
the Edge, there's a lot of them, and they're anywhere. You can get them for a couple $100, and you constantly have to put ice in them. And you can get them up to $7-10 grand, and they maintain. And they'll do 34 degrees up to 117 degrees, and that's the difference between $200 and $7,000 is they fully maintain themselves. I have several troughs in the back, and I'm like, come on, we're gonna go do some cold plunges. So we go over and get all of the ice Rick has next door, and I've got like half a truck of ice, and we fill it up, and I get in it, and I'm like, it's not even cold. We were in the shade, everything. I'm like, all right, this isn't working. So we're going to eventually get...
You're going to get a real one?
We have a guy bringing a container load of them in.
Yeah.
So we've got a few coming, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, legit, like real ones. Same thing
So
Andy
you're going
got.
to do a cold plunge every day then?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might be, like you were talking about, you took the cold showers and you thought they were cold until you really saw what the temperature was.
Yeah.
That might be the way I'm at, but I think I could do a cold plunge for like 5 minutes at least every day.
I'm with you.
Just fine.
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, okay, so you remember the first time you took a cold shower and you kind of creeped it down and it was cold?
Yeah.
Right? And then you kind of got in and you're like, I'm a little tougher. I'll just get in this thing. It's cold, right? And then you just start getting in it. But what I'd like tense up and like contract my organs and
Well, that's like the point. Is like you're supposed to relax.
yeah, I don't do none of that shit, right? I just get in, I just start it, get it as cold as it'll get, and then just get in it.
Yeah.
And then you're making progress. And it's like Frisella said, he bought one of those Edges. It's very nice. And he said, I'm in here at 5:30 every morning and I'm in this water that's 34 degrees. I might not be the baddest motherfucker in the world, but I'm doing something that 99% of you motherfuckers aren't doing. And it makes a difference. Cody's been cold plunging, and he had his son on the video yesterday, and he said, are you cold plunging? He's like, no. Or somebody asked him if he was on the live feed. He said, no, but I also wake up every morning fully awake. I don't use any caffeine. I don't take any stimulants. I just don't feel like that. And he was kind of making fun of his dad.
Yeah.
But, man, I'm going to do anything I can to add to my ability to do more shit.
Yeah, see, so there's all the health stuff that goes along with being able to do the cold plunge. What it is for me is the mind shit.
Mental toughness.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that even though nobody else wants to do it, And
Yeah.
I think if you can open that part of your brain up and be able to do that shit, you could do anything you want.
Dude, Bob messaged me a lot, sometimes before I'm awake, and I'm like, that motherfucker knows I'm not awake. Like he knows he beat me, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
he caught, like he's not doing it, but
He saw that I didn't read that immediately.
yeah. Brandle's like, how come you didn't read my message until 2:00 on Saturday morning? Because I was up till 5 a.m.
Yeah, I can tell with every day
Yeah.
and you'll sleep in, and I can tell because you're not doing any activity online.
Yeah.
I'm not
Nothing
gonna
has
message
moved.
you. Yeah.
or something catastrophic has happened. My phone is cut into two pieces.
Yeah.
But Bob's been cold plunging. He has like a legit cold plunge. he's been
Really?
doing. Yeah.
Oh,
Bob.
that's cool.
Bob's made some huge changes. Bob's lost 100 and some pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah. We have a lot of the conversation around hormone optimization, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and a lot of dudes talk about that. And that's one of the things that had come up the other night online. I'm like, look, man, I don't care what you do. You asked the question, so I'm just going to tell you what I do. And I'll be 100% honest with it. Every single thing that I take through the day, I'll give you everything I take. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. We can have any conversation in any direction you want to go with it. And guys are always like, well, you know, if I start taking this and then it shuts down my testosterone production, what happens if I can't get it anymore? Well, you're fucked like everybody else. I mean, I went through COVID with 0 testosterone, and I mean, my test levels are like less than hers when I'm off. I guarantee my test production's less than hers probably. And I still got a ton of shit done through COVID, right? And the way I look at it is like, I can wait 5 more years for my test to completely crash, or I can get a whole lot of shit done right now in this 5 years. And that's how I look at it. It's like, yeah, things are pretty good right now. I don't think I'm going to start saving for the future. And then when you're 35, it's too fucking late, right? Had you put away $100 a week, or let's say $100 a month.
Yeah.
From 18 to 35, man, it's that first part. It's getting that thing making its own money.
And everybody tells you that when you're young.
Yeah.
And you still don't do it.
I knew everything I still know everything.
Yeah.
I don't listen to anybody.
My dad was like, 10% of everything you earn gets put in savings and you'll be a millionaire.
10% of what you own, 10% of what you earn is yours to keep.
Yep.
The richest man in Babylon.
Yep. I listen to that once a year now.
Yeah, I listen to it on YouTube. Bob's got another great book that I'll send you that you need to listen to.
Yes.
It's called The Goal. And what's the goal of a business? Well, it's to make money. That's the goal of a business, is to make money. And that's kind of what it comes down to. But I'll send you that book. You should listen to that. Spherica's got I think it was 10, a list of 10 books every boy should read, or every man should read. I think that's what it was. But it's anything applicable like that to a man is applicable to a female also. And there are some really good books on there. And he did an episode on it and why you should read them and what they were about. And you should find that episode at some point and check that out.
But I could just search thesurvivalpodcast.com.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't. If you're not smart enough to know what I mean, you're probably never going to find it. You're also not going to take action. Right, you're probably also not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a while.
Get on 75 Hard again?
Eventually.
Not because I just want you to do it. Like, I was getting messages from you way earlier than ever. And
I'm still getting up early.
No, I don't doubt that you are. I don't doubt that you are.
Yeah.
But you had that excitement and that accomplishment. It's that snowball, right? It's that making little accomplishments that become big accomplishments. And I think the biggest thing I saw was just how fast you fucking executed on things. Mm-hmm. That's the execution of it. And it's just the light switch thing. It's just doing or not doing it. And it was noticeable, like, within the first few weeks.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed a change in myself in the first year. I was like, oh, yeah, this was the right decision.
Yeah, good for you.
I thought about it for 2 months before I decided.
The thing about getting up early or staying up late is there's no distractions. So you can't be like, oh, I would do this, but I have something else to do. No, everybody else is sleeping.
Oh, you got plenty of distractions.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're like, let me check and see if I have any notifications. Before you know it, it's daylight.
Yeah.
Let me play this for you. That's not the one I wanted. Oh, it rolled into the other one. Have you heard that?
No.
You have music for your show?
Yes.
I'll give you this one. You can use it if you want.
I can use that one.